referee. A very important opening match for both of these teams. They're in Pool H, and they have a very difficult Brazilian number 8 seed team to face next week. But Dane, you know these guys very well. Talk us through Casey Patterson first of all.
Casey Patterson is a veteran, no question about it, at 37 years of age. 201 centimeters, 6'6" tall. He's one of the tallest defenders that you'll see out on the court. And his partner, one of the best blockers in the world, technically. 32-year-old, 202 centimeters, 6'7". The 200-pounder, we'll see him at the net full time, and that is Theo Brunner. Brunner, third place. He's pulled that off 2 times on the FIVB tour. Still looking for that illustrious top of the podium on the other side of the net. There's the 27-year-old Robin Seidl, and he has quite a history. Playing in the Olympics in 2016 in Rio with Alexander Huber. Seidl is a dynamic and exciting player, and at 27 years of age, he is the future, possibly, of Austrian volleyball. He is playing with a new partner here in 2017. Tobias Winter, 23 years of age, 191 centimeters and 90 kilograms, which equals 198 pounds. He's been on tour for 6 seasons, and he as well will be looking to raise that Austrian flag. One of the fan favorites for sure, and we mentioned it earlier. This team, even though seated lower than the Americans, they met once before, about a month and a half ago, and they prevailed. They'll be looking to do the same thing here in front of their home crowd on this absolutely perfect day to play beach volleyball.
It's just over 30 degrees Celsius. There's no wind down on centre court. The conditions are near perfect. But before we get the action underway, this is quite a special moment as one of the many celebrations at these 11th Beach Volleyball World Championships. The first set of this match will be played by the 9th President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, and he will serve Dr. Are Graça from Brazil, of course. Dr. Are Graça, the FIVB, the International Beach Volleyball President. Great to see Thomas Bach here, giving us his support at this World Championships. And of course, Thomas Bach himself, an Olympic gold medalist in Montreal back in '76 as a fencer in the German team. But so good to see Thomas Bach and Dr. Are Graça giving their support to these memorable 11th World Championships here in Austria, Dave.
I'll tell you what, I was impressed right there. Bach with the underhand serve, aces Casey Patterson, and then Are Graça with the overhand serve. I saw him eating lunch just a minute ago. I was concerned if they'd be warm, but obviously they have some volleyball skills, no question about it.
And of course, Peter Kainmann, the Austrian beach volleyball president, joining Thomas Bach and Dr. Are Graça. I noticed you didn't give that too much analysis there, Dane. That was very politically correct. But let's get down to business here. Big match for both these teams, because they both know that in their pool they have Guto and Pedro Solberg as the top team in Pool H, which means both of these teams are looking to take runner-up position as a guaranteed qualification into the elimination round. It's Austria to serve first.
Right out of the gate, we get a look at Winter. Aggressive, beautiful touch by Seidl, and he sets his partner, attacks the United States. They drew first blood right there. The Austrians looking sharp on the opening whistle.
Oh, and Seidl puts a second point on the board for Austria. Now, we've seen one or two teams just take a little too long to get into the groove in their first match on centre court. It's an electrifying atmosphere. Thousands, almost full capacity on only day 2. Casey Patterson needs to shake things down here. Serving Brunner. Brunner now on the attack for the USA. And look at these young Austrian guys. They're wild card entries to this competition. First 3 points on the board in the early exchanges. Austria can do no wrong.
That was so impressive right there. A one-handed stab dig. It goes up nicely. And then the back set right to the middle of the court. A nice little roll shot there by Winter. So the 23-year-old really showing how effective he can be. His court vision, knowing when to dial it down just a little bit. Instead of challenging that big block of Brunner, he goes right around.
Well, the least experienced player on the court has been the most explosive player on the court. Seidl continues with this impressive service run. Casey with the set for Brunner. America look for their first point on the board here. Here he is again, the youngster, Winter, and he's down at another classic cross-court spike. This young lad may be the new name on the block or the new kid on the block, but wow, is he turning a few heads.
Wow, that was explosive right there. Casey Patterson, all he could do was watch. And this is a scary moment if you're the United States. You're giving the Austrians all sorts of confidence the way they're coming out here. Finally, the United States gets a point on the board.
Rally point scoring, remember, in beach volleyball. It doesn't matter whether you're serving or receiving. Whoever puts the ball down on the sand, the opposition takes the point. Here's Casey Patterson serving. Winter sets the ball up for Seidl to attack. Oh, Seidl hits that just a little too hard.
Yeah, instead of going for the court, he was going for the high hands. Looked like Theo Brunner was all over it. A perfectly formed block, and that ball sails out of bounds. If you're Austria, you don't want to give these points right back.
That's a nice little touch from Robin Seidl, the most experienced of the two beach players. He's from Lake Wörthersee, where, of course, the great Klagenfurt Austrian competition heralds from. Good play from Austria. Well, hands were there for Toby Winter. Not quite the direction that he was hoping for from the ball.
Yeah, if you're going into this match, you're thinking, if you're Theo Brunner, you got to own the net as a blocker. He's such an effective blocker, and that's where a lot of points have to come. If you're Casey Patterson in the backcourt, as I mentioned, one of the tallest defenders out there, but he's got to make some great defensive plays and not only make the digs, but he's got to convert and also limit those errors if you're the U.S. And they've already had their fill of unforced errors here in this first set. They have to clean it up, start to put the pressure on the Austrians.
Better shot from Theo Brunner, 32 years of age, from Torrance, California. Now let's hope that the center court nerves are starting to disappear now and America can get into their flow. These young wild-card Austrian team, everything to shoot for, nothing to lose, and they're taking full advantage of home support and giving it a real good shot in the early stages of this first set then.
Yeah, Winter looks so good and he looks so confident the way this match has started. Everything really working for him. His power shots are going down. His finesse shots are going down. And finally, Casey Patterson, who this year has somewhat mellowed out, I believe. You know, he used to always break out his breakdancing moves. He used to really play to the crowd quite a bit. We haven't seen that quite as often this year, but it could start at any time, especially with digs like that.
Oh, great play from Theo Brunner, but Patterson doesn't finish it. Austria do. Well, superb work from both sides of the net, but the young Austrian lads keep their calm and cool, steal another point.
Yeah, that's the important thing, the broken plays. When everything's not perfect, there Theo with a nice control. Casey with an opportunity to put it away, can't do it. And so what does Austria do? Before the United States can set up their defense, they put it down in the open court. That time, Seidl really feeling it, holding that hand up. Crowd really getting involved here.
Early stages, but the Austrian crowd loving the fact that the underdogs are just about picking up everything. Oh, Well, that was a shame that Seidl didn't set that better for Winter to finish it off, because his dig was full power into the body.
You know, I don't mind that as much, though. It was a beautiful dig, and what happened there is he took a chance. He tried to put his partner up to the net. He actually erred by going over the net, but I like that aggressive play, and I think that's what's got them to this 2-point lead here early in the first set.
Well, Seidl again hasn't had the best of attacking shots at the net.
Yeah, so after a slow start, the Americans starting to find their groove and get back into this one.
Winter sets for Seidl of Austria. Gets a lovely cut and angle on the ball. And the American duo have no answer to a shot of that quality.
Beautiful angle hit. And as I mentioned, Theo Brunner, one of the best blockers that I know. He can get on a run. He gets up and over, and his form is impeccable.
That was unlucky for Winter. Done very little wrong. Casey Patterson and his partner Theo Brunner, they just need to stay calm and cool here. Draw on their experience. Some 10 to 14 years older than the Austrian players. I think that's the first mistake from Winter, and that allows the USA to tie the scores.
Considering how this started, the United States has to feel very fortunate to be all tied up at 9 points apiece. Remember, it was 4-0 at one point, and they have been coming back. Winter's only made basically one error. He looks extremely confident. I don't know if you go his way anymore. Maybe let him cool down a little bit, because he's seeing the court so well. You see right there, a little wrist away angle shot.
Just off the fingertips of Robin Seidl. Casey Patterson ties the scores at 10-all. We'll wait to see which of the two teams takes the advantage going into the technical timeout. Halfway point of the first set with 21 total on the scoreboard. Patterson serves. Winter on the attack. And Winter takes that shot off the block of Theo Brunner. Austria have the advantage by 11 to 10 at the timeout, but at one point they were 4 clear. Dane, I think the experienced American team keeping their calm, keeping their cool, and just in the nick of time figuring out how to deal with these young Austrian hotshots.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, because the Austrians will continue to gain momentum and confidence. This crowd is
on some of those moves, that's it.
Extremely loud.
Going that low line at all costs. Even when you don't think he has it, he's going to do it.
Casey Patterson telling his partner Theo Brunner to take that low line as a blocker. It's so important that the blocker and the defender communicate, not only during the rally but in between. There's a Theo Brunner fan club member. He might be the president. I don't know about that shot on his shirt. It looked like a mug shot.
He's come a long way, that's for sure, Dane. He really has come a long way. He's originally from Connecticut, Theo Brunner, now residing in California. But wind speed, nothing like it was here yesterday. It's pretty warm down there, 28 degrees Celsius, 37% humidity. And the heat is on the USA here. The young wild card Austrian team of Robin Seidl and Tobias Winter really putting on an electrifying display of beach volleyball in the first half of this opening set. Fair to say that the experienced Theo Brunner and Casey Patterson of the USA have started to figure them out just a little better in the last few points than they did in the early exchanges. Here we go with the second half of set 1.
Theo Brunner high off the block of Seidl right there. And to this point, nobody has a block at the net, considering the fact Theo Brunner 6'7", Seidl just 6'3" listed. It's important that Theo win that battle at the net, and so far the Austrians have been kind of chiseling left and right and giving Theo Brunner fits at the net. He has not gotten in a groove and not posted one block as of yet.
That could turn this game significantly America's way if Brunner can get that block going. Good work from Patterson. Looks to finish for the USA. Nice little shot over the top. Good communication from the USA. Good tactical play now from the USA. They found the groove, they found the rhythm, they found the shots that can get the better of these young lads.
Well, that's Casey Patterson really storing in his memory what the tendencies are and then making a great play to dig that ball and put it away. This time Austria comes with more of a power shot, which I think will be more effective as long as they're getting past that block. That block is huge, let me tell you. And he can catch fire and be a game changer up at the net, Theo, but so far the Austrians have gotten the best of it.
Seidl serves, serving Theo Brunner. Brunner on the attack. Good cross-court shot. Very nice cross-court shot. First break for the USA. Too clear at 14-12.
And you see how high Theo Brunner hits that ball, almost over the block, using that 4-inch height difference between he and Robin Seidl.
Oh, Casey had his hands on it, but not quite in the right position.
Yeah, I liked his position. He just couldn't execute there. That ball's hit right at him. That's where you want to be, but you got to cushion it. You got to push that ball up in the air and give Theo Brunner opportunity to make an adjustment and set.
Good serve from Winter. Oh, lovely shot from Patterson. Split-second reactions to go over on two. Leaves the Austrians standing.
Really smart shot. This is when you want to go over on two. When the defense is possibly sleeping. You haven't gone over on two so far in the match. And Casey Patterson showing his volleyball IQ, knowing exactly when to strike.
Oh, what a dig from Casey Patterson. And a lovely piece of class. A touch on the ball.
Well, look at this turn of events. The United States now up 3. Some beautiful plays. We call that the back flipper from Casey Patterson. And more importantly, not only does he flip it up, but then he's able to put the ball away. Winter was there, but couldn't control it.
Winter sets for Seidl. And again, almost like a slow-mo replay of a shot two previous.
And Casey needs to make this defensive play. He's in the right spot. He's got his arms are too close to his body. He needs to extend his arms away from his body and shoot that ball up in the air. It doesn't matter how high, just as long as he gives his partner time to run it down.
Seidl serving Brunner. Good shot from Theo Brunner.
Wow, when Theo extends and hits that ball at its apex, he is way up there. It's very difficult for Seidl at 6'3" to get up to that floor.
Oh, cheeky shot from Seidl, but what a lovely shot. Crowd thought it was brilliant.
Well, it really was nice. It looked like Theo was going to get it up, but it's just too good. Little poke shot, finesse, follows through. It hits just on the line.
Tobias Winter with a big, powerful jump serve. Here's Casey Patterson again. That touch over the top of the Austrian block takes the United States of America 3 points clear. They have the answers. They're in the groove. The USA, after a slow start, are now starting to play some superb beach volleyball. Well, at just 23 years of age, Tobias Winter's a bit of a star find for Austria.
Yeah, look at his vision. I call this the alley between the antenna and the left arm of the blocker. Hits it perfectly. Casey Patterson even sliding in on defense, but the shot was just too good.
1916. Well, it would have been an absolutely spectacular point if Seidl could have pulled off that ace serve. He felt it was a gamble worth taking. Here's Patterson with service for the USA. 1916 in the first set. Patterson, a lovely little float, short serve. Oh, Brunner's at the net. Now drops off. Patterson with the set. Set point it is for the United States of America. 20-16.
And Casey Patterson motions to the crowd. There's about 4 fans of the 10,000 that are here that seem to be backing the United States there, but he motions to those that were cheering, and this is the reason. Beautiful play at the net, almost getting his first block is Theo Brunner, but he doesn't put it away. Brunner gets a second opportunity, and offensively, the Austrians have had no answer for Theo Brunner. So if he just keeps hitting that ball, they're going to be in some really good shape. Austria calling the timeout. They're going to think about this one. See the ice on the back of Winter's neck. That's to cool you down. They say you put ice on the back of your neck. That's the fastest way to cool down the body. And it is heating up out there. Not only is the crowd on fire, but it's toasty down on that sand.
Yeah, it's a good call for a timeout for the young Austrian players in red and white. Just trying to slow the momentum of the USA, who with success on this service from Casey Patterson will take the first set 21-16. Austria need to side out here. Now that is why you call a timeout. Just to throw the focus. Mission accomplished.
How many times do I say you cannot miss that serve coming out of a timeout? Do not let the other team off the hook.
But the USA make the second set point count. A basic and straightforward side out. America win the first set 21-17. I think it's fair to say down a slightly slow, almost wobbly start. But once they got into the rhythm, got warmed up, found their flow, Patterson and Theo Brunner look sharp, look good. They look like a winning team here on center court.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you start your first match, we've seen it so much in this tournament so far. Teams not looking themselves for the first few points because of the nerves. This is a big tournament, the World Championship, second only to the Olympics. You get this every 2 years, and when it's on the schedule, you tailor your schedule so that you're peaking during this week. So a lot has been put into this, a lot of planning as we look at the stats. Very surprising. Neither side with a block, just one ace, that going the Austrians' way. And I'm surprised that the United States won that first match without having a block from Theo Brunner, but that's just showing that if they control it, control the broken plays, win the broken plays, and limit those unforced errors, they're going to put themselves in position to win. Remember, these two teams met about a month and a half ago in The Hague, and it was Austria who prevailed. So you better believe the Americans have that in the back of their mind.
Lovely start for the Austrians. They need to win this second set to take it to a third tiebreak. And Winter puts the first point on the board for Austria with a lovely cut shot at the net. Continual communication between Patterson and Brunner for the USA. Here's the set attack. Here's Winter now. Oh, that's better from Casey Patterson. Remember, he missed 2 of those in the first set. But Winter again pushes Patterson to the far left of the court. 2-0.
Again, Casey Patterson's in the right spot, but Nick, he's got to control that on his side of the net. Look at that dig right there. Austria, doesn't matter how high it is, as long as you dig it on the same side of the net, you're going to be in much better shape. And a beautiful jump set to the outside. Seidl throwing off the block of Theo. Look at that. Fakes him out. No blocker at the net. Winter goes down the line. Beautiful offense by the Austrians.
Robin Seidl, just 27 years of age, with service for Austria. Well left by Theo Brunner. And once again, the Americans, almost like a cat and mouse, giving the Austrians the feeling that they're starting to take control, and then they reel them back in again. Charalampus Papadouglas calls the serve again.
Again, he's in the right spot. If you get a hand on the ball, a lot of great players used to tell me, Mike Dodd, if you can get your hand on it, you can dig it. And so it's a matter of controlling. A lot of balls being hit at Patterson right now. He's just got to control that if he expects to score those points.
Patterson with service. Brunner with a super block at the net.
Finally, huh? The first block for the blocking specialist, Brunner, and you see how far he gets over the net. Pressing on the side of Austria. That was picture perfect.
Ball is out of play from Robin Seidl. And Team USA take the lead for the first time in this second set, having already won the first.
You know, that's a direct reflection of Theo's block. He gets a block. Next play, Austria tries to go around him and avoid the block. Ball ends up out of bounds.
Brunner again. Block number 2, possibly number 3. I'll check the stats. But that can be one of the key parts of success of this duo's play at these World Championships. Wonderful block from Brunner.
Yeah, that's what I expected more of in the first set. Now Theo Brunner starting to heat up, and he can start to get blocks in runs, as you've seen.
Casey.
That ball definitely has to be put in the court and give your partner, Theo Brunner, another opportunity to block. The more opportunities he gets, the better off. Look at that. Press over, almost his third block of the match. Austria keeps it alive. Casey Patterson with a good dig. Kind of a broken play. This is where I'm talking about. Broken plays, you got to keep the ball in and give yourself as many opportunities as possible, especially when you have that big block of Theo Brunner.
Seidl to serve. That's a lot of topspin on that big jump serve. Patterson attacks for the USA. Nice read of the opposition's court from Patterson.
Patterson, great court vision right there. Has a really good roll shot. And he takes a really nice look at the defense before he executes.
Oh, Brunner targets Winter with his service, knowing that he's blocked him twice before, and that's number 3 for Theo.
Yeah, with Theo heating up, I don't blame Austria for calling a timeout because the momentum has swung drastically. The confidence has really gone away from the Austrian players. Everything they did at the beginning of the first set was the right move. Right now, it seems like everything they're doing, the Americans have made the adjustment and are making them pay. The 23-year-old Winter, ice on his neck, trying to stay cool, trying to refocus and get back on track. But right now, the Austrians seem to be in a little bit of trouble. This crowd would like to boost them up as well.
Dane, you called it perfectly. You made it quite clear to all of our listeners, once Brunner gets the block working, America will become a force to be reckoned with. And Brunner with 3 stuff blocks against his name. Slow start, I would say, but now they're in the groove. 39 degrees Celsius. Ow, that's the sand temperature. Wow, that stings the feet.
Yeah, that can be very hot. You know, you play on different surfaces throughout the year, and the darker the particles in the sand, sometimes the sand heats up to where it's unbearable, and the players wear some sand socks. We're not quite there. This is a nice pure sand. It's hot, but most of these players are accustomed to these conditions.
And there, Seidl puts the ball way out of court, purely from the pressure of Brunner's block.
Yeah, that's something that's you're not gonna find in the stat sheet, because he's blocked a few balls. Then it becomes an intimidation, and Austria trying to avoid the block and causing many errors to happen. That is a beautiful shot, though, by Winter.
Yeah, and Casey Patterson just watched it.
That's all he could do. You see that wrist away down the line, very deceptive, kind of had Casey Patterson thinking angle, and he went line. Good shot.
Good shot, followed by an ace serve from the youngest player on court, Tobias Winter. Relative newcomer to the world stage of beach volleyball. But this lad's impressed a few people, to say the least, today.
He ripped it. And it goes to show you how one shot, that smooth shot away from Casey Patterson, kind of gave him confidence. Then he went back and just ripped the serve. Let's see if he can do it again. Wow,
yes,
he does it.
Ace number 2. Ho, ho, ho. This young gentleman is making a bit of a name for himself here today.
Well, that's seizing on the momentum. He goes down the line to Casey Patterson. That time, he goes the opposite direction, down the line to Theo.
And there is number 3. And he's even learning from Casey Patterson how to bring the crowd to their feet. Superb serving skills from Winter.
How about that? Now Austria 4-0 over the United States in the ace category.
Here is Winter once again on the attack. Showing that he can really mix it up quite nicely. It looked like he wasn't quite sure what to play here.
Well, he wasn't. That was a completely broken play. Austria completely out of sorts. A back set. Winter doesn't realize it. All he can do is bump it underhand, and it goes down for a winner.
Getting close to the technical timeout with a total of 21 points on the scoreboard. The USA, 10-9. Brunner would love to break here.
Oh, just squeaked it in between. That's what happens as a blocker if you do not seal the net. If you leave even a couple inches, that's where the ball can squeak between you and the net and end on your side. Theo usually very good at sealing the net, not that time.
Here's Patterson, putting America into the lead, going into the technical timeout. 11 points to 10, 1 set to 0 for Team USA.
Wow, what a cut shot right there. Elevating Casey Patterson, taking a look, and then going away. You know, he played in the Olympics in 2016 with Jake Gibb, a very disappointing 19th place finish.
On both of those, we're kind of just taking your side of the court that we're calls on. Let's get a side of the court call for every play, just for an on-2. Let's just always have it be wrist away of the setter, you know, where they have to turn back at me.
Casey Patterson wanting Theo Brunner to really give him a call on what side of the court he will be taking, regardless of if the ball's hit on the second or third contact, so that they are in communication. Very important what that blocker is going to take for the defender to know exactly.
These young guys, wild card entries for this competition. Not too much communication. Let's go out there and have some fun is what he's just said. Let's enjoy this. And of course, the young gentleman on the right, number 2 there, Toby Winter, has had a remarkable World Championship debut here. No matter what the outcome, the odds are stacked in the favor of Team USA to win this match 16 Pool H. But we've seen 2 young rising stars, and one in particular. Here's his partner, Seidl. And here's Patterson to serve for the USA. There's Winter. And they're serving Winter. Oh, that's the first slight shank that we've seen from the Austrian.
Oh, and finally, Casey Patterson in the perfect spot, executes the dig, but it's a net violation. Theo Brunner being a little bit too aggressive on that one.
All tied at 11-all. Service is a little too long.
Yeah, you know, I don't mind what Austria's doing. They're going for it with their serves. And remember, they have 4 aces. And those 3 aces that we saw by Winter early on in this set has really gotten them right back into the mix. So they can afford to make a couple of errors. That time, Seidl hitting the ball directly out, an unforced error, probably because the block of Theo, it's intimidating. It's in your face. And when you try to avoid it, sometimes you run out of real estate.
Yeah, trying to tool the ball off the block, but not quite getting the timing right. Advantage back with America. Oh, and there it is. Well, a lovely, Dane would call that trickler over the net. A very, very short service. And, of course, there is no let in beach volleyball. Both the Austrian players at the back of the court, both come diving forwards. It's a point on the board for the USA, but then the Americans throw it away. One back for Austria, trailing by 2 now. The locals in red and white with Tobias Winter with service. Now, that could be the turning point of the second set, allowing the Americans to go 15-12. Patterson. Oh, service ace for Casey Patterson. Right down the middle of the 2 Austrian players. Both left looking at each other.
Just like that, the United States had 0 aces. Now they have 2 after the trickler, and then we call the husband and wife serve, a little dispute on who's covering the middle of the court, and the ball drops right in the middle. So the United States now taking a 3, making a 4-point lead. So 3 quick aces by the United States, and that's how quickly you can let things go. If your focus wanes for just a moment, as it has if you're Austria, now you find yourself all of a sudden down 5.
Another touch off the tape from Casey Patterson. This time Austria find the right reply and the right shot, but the damage is done. They're 4 behind.
You're absolutely right, Nick. The damage has been done. The United States now just 4 points away. All they have to do is receive serve. This is where, if you're Austria, you have to kind of start pressing. You have to start pushing the issue a little bit to try to make it happen. There's a net violation on Austria, so make it 18 for the United States, and this crowd has become very quiet. Exactly what you don't want if you're Austria. You got to use the crowd. You got to get them back yelling your name.
That's a good shot from Robin Seidl.
Seidl up and just squeaks that through. You know, Seidl was in Rio, a 9th place finish with his former partner, Alexander Huber. They were a tough team, and I thought that was a huge finish for them, getting top 10 in the Olympic Games. But he's going to be something with this new partner when they start to gel and things start to come together. But so far, the Americans have really put it to him.
Oh, just got one hand to it. Theo Brunner there, 15-19. As our expert in the combox, Olympic champion Dane Blanton has pointed out, they just need to trade side outs the USA to take this match. 19-15. Oh, and with mistakes like that, match point is almost given on a plate. 20-15 now to the United States of America. Well, the young Austrian duo have come up against a couple of old hats from the USA. Have given them a little bit of a scare, but the form book has come strong. Brunner up at the net. Casey Patterson finally controls one of those super spikes. Oh, and the flag stays down. down. Oh, Winter does it again.
Too funny. You know, Casey Patterson thought that was out. Here's the great hit down the line, the overhand dig by Winter. Casey keeps his hand up, and even despite the call, he almost looks like he still thinks he won the point.
Just need to side out here, the USA now. Winter with service. Second match point for the USA. Theo Brunner, Casey Patterson have plenty in hand. Winter with the float serve. Patterson just retrieves the ball for Brunner. Gets the angle on the ball. Oh! The Austrians are not going to give this up without a fight. And there's another point for the youngsters in red and white.
Well, they're battling back, and they're doing exactly what they need to do, putting a little pressure on the United States. And if you're the U.S. and you're thinking this thing is over, you might have another thing coming, because the Austrians, they are not going to give up. What a beautiful dig by Winter. And then the cut shot by Casey Patterson, not there. Even if that goes over the net, look at Winter. He is all over it.
Third match point for the USA. Winter with service once again. This time going for Brunner. Patterson with the set. Over onto a back set. Beautiful shot. Patterson showing his class to wrap it up for the USA. Wow. Class or cheeky, whichever way you want to call it, Dane. It silenced the crowd, put us to the edge of their seats, and the United States of America win their opening match here on centre court. 2-0. Well done, Brunner, and well done, Casey Patterson. Little scary for me in the opening exchanges, but they kept their calm, held their cool, and did the business by the end of proceedings.
Yeah, I think the crowd was caught off guard with that back set, maybe not approving too much of it, but nonetheless, a smart play by Casey Patterson. And what I liked, we got a little Casey Patterson of old with the little moves at the end, which I like. I like when he plays to the crowd and he really brings it. Look at that deception right there. Freezes the players, freezes the crowd, stuns everybody with this beautiful back set to get the victory.
I love it. Great shot from Patterson. What a way to wrap it up. But I think the Austrians have impressed quite a few of the opinion leaders here with their play. I particularly enjoyed watching Tobias Winter play. He's confident, he's fearless, he's got a large repertoire of shots and skills, and he's definitely a player to watch. Confirmation that the United States of America, the 17 seeds, beat the 32 seed wildcard entrance from Austria 21-17, 21-17. But some impressive stats from both sides of the court, Dane.
Absolutely, 4-3 in the acing category, and those aces midway through the second set for the United States really gave them control. But the big stat is blocks. It was Theo Brunner who took charge at the net, and the Austrians just didn't have an answer. So remember, this is just the first pool play match. So much more volleyball to be played in Pool H. But Austria, they'll watch the tape, and they'll want to turn things around. For the United States, they want to improve upon this, what was an impressive finish here today.
Well, I'm intrigued to hear from Julius Brink, who's down in the centre court with the American winners, Theo Brunner and Casey Patterson. Julius, down to you.